Talk about stock market, finances,
I ha-
everything that we feel because of the high inflation. Um, Everyone's portfolios are pretty much down for the most part, unless you have the right picks, especially like Nvidia or some of the good AI companies. Because there's a lot of tech companies that went down.
oh, a lot of big tech. I mean, I see in my portfolio all the time. Like inflation's out of control. Groceries are more money. Gas is more money. Every service is more money. And then your portfolio is going down. So it's like it's just there's no win. It's like you're getting punched in the face every which way. Every way you turn, you're losing money.
Yeah, every time I go to a restaurant, it's easily going to be $35 a person with tip. It's like, wow, I think I'm kind of need a layoff from going to restaurants. Although I want to support local businesses, but at the same time, it's like, dude, it's getting expensive.
I know. We just went and got some food this weekend. My kids just got last day of school, so we took them out to eat and got a order for my daughter some boneless wings. It was $20. $20 for boneless wings.
How many boneless wings?
Yeah, it was probably like 10 or 12.
That's still a lot. I remember wings used to be like 35 cents a piece.
So cheap. Now it's like $2 a wing. That's like it looked like they had chicken nuggets and just fish fried it or flash fried it.
They bread it so much. I mean, it's not really chicken wings. It's what,
Yeah, right.
maybe some thigh
It's a lot of
or
breaded.
breast.
Yeah.
But they bread it up and fry it up and said, okay,
Make it
$2
look
a piece.
bigger.
Make it look bigger.
Yep. Oh, so smart. We got to do that. Figure a way to do that. But like well, we talked about this before off air and stuff. Our portfolios look depressing. It's like when is this going to go back up? And it's going to be a slow climb probably.
Well, this is another thing they preach in finance is that when times are tough, you want to buy it now because when times are good, your portfolio is going to look good. Right now, your portfolio is not looking good. That's when you want to buy because when they come back up, your portfolio is going to be looking nice.
With what money? I have
know,
no
right?
money. It's like
Like it's easy to say when you have the expendable income, but when you're in a position where you have no expendable income, they put most of the country, the working class and the middle class, where they don't have the expendable income to invest. But when times are good, now they have the expendable income, but all the stock prices are expensive, and when you buy it and things go down, then so does your stock portfolio. So it's hard to win.
yeah, it's hard, and then it's hard because that mentality, blood is in the street that you buy when things are bad and so when things are good, you just can never time the market. Like you can never buy at the right time, sell at the right time. Because sometimes you buy, you're like, hey, I'm going to put X amount into this. And then you start seeing it go down more and more. And you're like, oh man, I screwed up.
2021, when there was quantitative easing, right? Giving out money basically.
QE, yeah.
Stock market went up like crazy and everyone was like, hey, I got expendable income now. I'm going to put money in the stock market. And then, a year and a half later, interest rates going up, stock market's going down, and then you're just at a negative now.
You're negative.
Just like, damn it.
It's the government, it's the system. They did that on purpose.
Now people don't have the expendable income to like really average down.
No, we don't.
You just have to wait a long time for it to break even again.
Which is crazy. Well, then, like the middle class that are either don't have as much or have, they have some wiggle room. Think about all the people that didn't have the wiggle room to begin with, the emergency funds put away. Right now, it's got to be super hard for them to even get by. There's no jobs, There's no.
Well, there's no good paying.
There's no good paying jobs. You can get a $10 an hour job at Fry's or whatever.
There's plenty of those labor jobs out there that don't pay much, right? That we see on the news, like, oh, there's 9 million jobs available, but most of them don't pay well. And then you hear the story of people don't want to work. Is it that they don't want to work or they don't want to pay because they know that pay is still not going to pay their bills? It's not going to pay their rent. You just spent 40 hours a week making a paycheck, but it still doesn't cover your bills.
Yeah. There's I saw this tweet of this guy. I don't know if you saw it. It's like a meme where he says, I don't want to work anymore. I work all these hours and then I have no money. And he's like speaking English and Spanish. I got to pull it up for you. It's so hilarious.
No, I'll look it up. Keep talking about
I don't know if you're going to be able to find it, but I'll talk about real quick the market. It's just pretty bad. If you want to look for that, pull up. Yeah, see if that comes up, and if I see it on there, I'll let you know. But yeah, it's just depressing. Everyone's portfolios. I mean, everyone I talk to at the gym, people in the financial industry, like we're not seeing any. It's just bad with rates, and housing is supposed to go down. No one knows if it's going to go down, but
I can't find it, but I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
just don't worry about it. There's just not enough equity not enough inventory for housing to go down yet. If there's more inventory, then we would see that.
Tell me what you think of this. In order for housing prices to go down, we need inventory to increase.
Correct.
Right now, they're not increasing. Why is that?
No one's moving.
No, a lot of people are not giving up their low
The two,
rates, right? So there's no cycle of that.
there's no cycle of that.
And new homes are not being built fast enough for the fluctuation of a surplus for new inventory.
Well, they don't want to build. Why would you build and have?
Well, they're building, but not too fast, right?
Yeah, they're building, but they're not going to release it. With builders, they release in phases. You're not going to build a ton right now because it's just with the way the market is, the house is not going to be. It's going to be less than what it is right now. So if you're building right now at X price, say 700,000, by the time the house is done in this market, it might be down to 650, 600. That's a loss for them.
Well, let's go over like the 2008 crash, and when the housing was at its lowest in 2012. We had high inventory because builders were building a lot as much as possible because there was a lot of incentive to make money because there was just loans going through like crazy for subprime loans where there's just money just basically just pumping. So inventory is going up. But then when inventory is high and then you had a crash in the stock market and people lost a lot of money because there was a lot of junk loans, then you have this high inventory plus a lot of people getting laid off and foreclosed. So what do you do with all these homes that are available? It's just like a lot of buyers, they can pick whatever house they want, and then as a seller, you're competing to try to sell your house because your neighbor just dropped the price 10,000, and he just finally got out of it. It's like, damn it! All right, you try to cut it down 10,000, but your other neighbor cut it down 15, and he just sold it. And you're like, damn it! So you're just trying to sell as fast as possible, so you're not losing the value of your home so much.
No, that's what we were in that situation too. But also, you got to look at it. You're selling your house, say for 500,000, and same house that you have just foreclosed. So now that the value has gone down in that neighborhood. But also you have people that would not just short sell, but like what you just said. You have a $500,000 house. This guy has to move to Texas, has the same house, says, you know what, screw it. I got to get out of here. I'm going to sell for $450 because I have $200,000 in equity in there. You are trying to sell your house for $500,000 because you owe $450,000. You don't have much equity. After you pay off your realtor and stuff, you're not gonna have much money. But now that guy sold the same house for $450, you're gonna be topped at $450 because the market's going down. And at that point, because the market is going down at such a pace, you might have to sell for $400, $420. Now then you're like, oh, I can't sell because I'll be at a loss.
Right.
And then the whole big foreclosure thing happened, and then that $500,000 house that you thought was worth $500,000 is now worth $300,000. That's how it was.
Yeah, and I'm sure you see all the YouTube videos of all the crash bros out there saying that we're gonna have a housing market crash. I don't think there's gonna be a crash, man. Inventory is too low to justify it, and people are not moving out because they have two things: they have a low interest rate and they have a lot of equity. So people are not gonna get foreclosed on, even if they lost their jobs right now.
There's some people that get foreclosed on.
Sure. Like people who just bought within, like, say, the past 5-7 years. Sure.
Correct.
They're at risk, right? But people who've been in their houses since 2008, they recently refinanced with a interest rate lower than 3%. They're fine.
Yeah, but a lot of those people that wanted to move are looking at their rate going, you know what? I'm just going to remodel my house.
I hear that too.
I'd rather remodel I'll take a small equity line of credit and I'll just, you know what? Do up the kitchen, spruce up the backyard. I'm good. You're not going to get rid of that 2.5%, 3% rate right now when rates are what, 7%?
I'll pull it up right now. Let's look at it.
Oh,
As
perfect.
of what, the 27th?
Yeah.
Right there. 7.14% rates. People really feel that rate.
That
they really
sucks.
feel that rate right now.
That-
So we had another big jump touching the 7%. I don't think we've had it that bad in a minute. 7.14%. That's a tough one.
Well, let's see what that is today. What's the average price of a house right now?
Um,
What would you
let's
say?
just say,
500?
Chandler, which is 550,000.
Say 550 loan amount, 7.125%, 30-year term. That house payment is $3,705.
That's just principal and interest, right?
That's just principal and interest. Now let's say that same 550 at the 2.5% interest rate, 30-year term. That's $1,000 less. 2,700. No. That's way less. $2,173.
What interest rate was that again?
The 2.5.
Yeah.
That's $1,600 a month.
No one's gonna move and get an extra $1,600 a month.
That's a
mortgage
lot of
payment.
money. $1,600 a month, and that's just for the same price house.
Yep.
Why would you move to the same price house?
Especially if you bought that house a few years ago before the pandemic when it was cheaper at the time.
Yeah.
And people who got that rate just refinanced. Like, dude, I'm going to have a way cheaper mortgage now.
Yeah, you have the house is worth 550. Say they bought it for 375 before the pandemic, right? 2.5 interest rate, 30-year term. Their house payment's $1,400, $1,481. For the same exact house, that they would have to pay $3,700, double, more than double. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's why.
There's no refinances right now. I heard a commercial on the way here. Oh, you should refinance with so and so. It's a good time to refinance. Who the hell is not a good time to refinance? The only people refinancing right now are the people that are in extreme debt or have to sell the house because they're getting divorced. Those are the only people refinancing right now. If you have a 3% interest rate, you're not refinancing to 7. You're crazy. You're going to have to find another way to pay those credit cards.
Yeah. And another reason, a lot of these crash bros on YouTube talk about, or they don't mention, is that the low inventory, right? They say, oh, the inventory is going to increase. I don't think so. Not at the rate they're going to think it's going to be.
I think the only way it increases is if rates go down.
Even if rates go down, people are going to start buying.
And moving.
There's
a lot of people on the fence, and they're like, you know what? I can buy now.
This is what is going to require for inventory to go up, right? Sure, more building, even if they're building at the steady rate they are right now, plus stricter lending. I'm talking about like the only people they're going to lend money to are people who have like a credit score of like 760 or 780 or better.
Yeah, but right now they're introducing right now with the way the industry is, they're making it easier for you to borrow. Like there's companies that are doing 1% down.
Yeah. So people 1% down or
that's so much risk.
Interest, or first year interest buy down or stuff like that, or they tackle your closing costs. But still, you're still going to be stuck with a high payment if you're trying to buy a new house with all these incentives. I don't think that's going to help because to really get the inventory up so houses can be cheaper, I don't think they are. I think where they are now, it might be stagnant at these prices for a while.
No, I would agree with you because the 1% down program, like who's that benefit? Like that's obviously someone that doesn't have money.
No, it's just someone who's just trying to get a house. That's it. Like their goal is to get in a house at whatever it takes.
Because they've been renting for so long and they're trying to get into a home and they're like, hey, we can put 1% down and we're good. Like, dude, maybe you shouldn't be buying if you only have 1% to get in the house because you're one emergency away from foreclosure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the ability to not let people buy a house that will increase inventories to go up. But right now, there's so many programs that help people get a house. You're like, you don't need much credit. FHA, what's the minimum credit you need?
A lot of companies can go 580. Some can even go below.
580 credit score. That means you don't pay your bills very often.
Yeah, you have bad credit for a reason, right? Like
you don't take it seriously. You don't take finances seriously. You don't take paying your bills on time seriously.
They're also trying, which I thought was crazy. Like I don't know if it's linked to Democrats or whoever, but I saw something that they're making it easier for people with bad credit to buy houses.
Oh, right, because like some of the fees of like if you have mediocre credit like 720 or below, you pay a little bit of higher fee, so people who have way bad credit, like the 580s, pay less of a fee. So it's like a balance in there.
I don't know who came up
So-
with that. Then what? Why are we working on credit? Why are we trying to be good about paying?
Why are we trying to help people who are not good at paying bills to get into a house?
Yeah, they have a record of not paying stuff. Mm-hmm. Like I see credit reports all the time. I'm like, dude, you can't pay this. Like, no, we can't afford this. And you want to buy a house? Mm-hmm. Like, this doesn't make sense.
That was like the logic of the 2008.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, you don't no job, no income. That's okay.
No,
Get you a house.
That's almost like the same thing with down payment assistance. There's like a lot of down payment assistance programs where people can pretty much get into a house with just their closing costs. Mm-hmm. And there's also, some programs where you're pretty much coming in scot free. Mm-hmm. I hate to say it, I've had some like VA loans that were really bad credit and had a history of not paying their bills.
All they need is like a minimum, 620 or something like that for a VA loan?
Some can go
And you're
lower.
treated the same across the board.
Yeah.
Even with someone who has like 800 plus credit.
But even so on you can get an exception to go under. I've seen it. But there's people like there's a history. You have no credit. You have no money, and you're getting in this because you're getting a seller credit. Like the sellers are saying, "Hey, we'll give you 3% if you buy the house." There's no money down. Plus, you're getting 3% towards your closing costs. That covers everything. You get in the house for free, but you don't make enough money. You got an exception to go over 50% debt to income.
So day one, they're at risk.
They're at risk because your debt to income is off of gross. It's not off of net. So if I get someone approved at 50% debt to income, that's based off your gross, not your net. So after taxes, you really don't have all that money to buy groceries, pay for your gas, pay for your insurance. How are you going to live? You're house poor. You're hoping you find a roommate or something or a side hustle to make sure you're going to be able to afford this. But our system's pretty broken when it comes to that, and lenders don't care. They're like, oh, he qualifies. It's in the rules. Let's get him in.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
They got that insurance, PMI insurance, so there's a chance that person's going to flop, but those lenders are covered.
Yep. So, I mean, that's for like FHA's covered, but VA's different story.
VA's different.
It's government backed, so it's covered.
Backed, right?
Yeah. So it's just, I wrote a lot of loans where I'm like, oh, this guy's like, if he gets laid off, he's screwed. Mm-hmm. He's screwed. So.
Right, yeah, they're walking on thin ice.
Correct.
All the way throughout the entire life of that loan.
Yep. So I don't know what are, and then with the rates being where they're at and the payments being as high as they are, I mean, it just costs so much.
So in order for inventory to go up, I mean, would you agree with me that you just have to provide less loans, qualify less people? You can't qualify these people who debt to income is too high and their credit is horrible.
Yeah, because if you're doing what you're doing, what you want to do, what you're saying we should do, you have less qualified people out there able to buy a house. So inventory, it won't get out of control. You'll see more. I don't know.
It'll increase. I mean, that's one way to increase the inventory, right? You have to qualify less people. But then, what candidate's going to say that? What political candidate's going to say that?
Yeah, you're right.
Democrats, that's easily for Democrats. Oh, we're going to get people into a house.
Yeah, well, then they're talking about affordable housing and this and that. I don't know.
And none of them can define what affordable housing means.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching our clip. If you want to see more clips like this and you like our views, like the show, click here for some more clips. If you want to hear the whole podcast, watch the whole podcast, click here for the whole podcast. Remember, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll get back to you. Thank you, and have a great day.